happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, because this episode is brought to you by MANSCAPED.
Yes, it is. Our first real sponsor.
We're actually sponsored. How are you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm doing fantastic. A lot of cool things has been happening. There's a lot of gaming has been happening. Yeah. This February has just been a slaughterhouse for games for us gamers, right? It's just too many back-to-back.
RIP free time and money.
Exactly, none of that stuff. Do you know what I should do? I should really get my my timers going on my
so
phone.
Professional.
Right, so professional. I'll start that right there. Eddie, remember that in the edit. But yeah, there's been so many games playing, and I'm actually getting a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I want to play other games. I want to move on to Elden Ring. I want to play that. GT7 is just dropping the day probably these guys are hearing it, and I'm not a GT guy. I'm not a racing game guy. But I've read reviews and heard people say, oh my God, the way that the cars feel through the DualSense controller.
Yeah.
And when you put on a pair of headphones, how you can hear the gravel versus the road versus the engines. And I'm like...
Also with the 3D audio on the PS5, it's likely to be good.
I want to play this goddamn game now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'll probably be one of them guys. There's probably like 70 hours worth of races in there. I'm going to be the guy that plays an hour and a half, and I'm like, cool, see you later.
Right.
And I'm going to pay $70 for that shit.
You like to do that, though, man. You want to be in the discussion, innit?
I said, I like to be in the discussion, and if it's doing something genuinely good, I want to be able to experience it. That's my thing. We're going to talk a little bit about PSVR later, and I have my PSVR 1. I haven't used it in maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
But still, I'm going to be a sucker and I'm going to buy the PSVR 2 because I'm a Sony pony, but also because I love tech. Yeah. I love tech.
You want to see what the next new thing is like.
Exactly. But how have you been, bro? What have you been up to?
Not done a huge amount of gaming because at the minute I'm dog sitting and she's very needy.
Try and put the controller. No, that's where my head is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, I mean you've seen Rosie. Like she'll get in your face and you're trying to like game around this dog, and she needs your full attention. But I have been playing a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I do mean a little bit. I haven't got very far into it. I'm gonna put like a full day probably on Saturday.
Cool.
Because I still haven't got to the embassy yet. I'm very early game.
I think even if you play a full day, you won't still get to the embassy.
Well, I will say that I was coming down the mountain. And then immediately was like, oh, there's question marks behind me. Well, it's only 2. Let me just tick those off. And I specifically in my head was like, just play the game. Just get through it. You can always come back and do this stuff. And then I was like, yeah, but what if I missed something cool? And then I found the mine or whatever it is behind there. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go that way. Start going. And then that kind of looks like a ruin. I wonder what that is. Climb all the way to the top. Found some like purple sundial thing. Oh, why am I like this?
Bro, I don't at all in any way hold anything against you for this game because I'm exactly the same. Right. I know what you feel now because in this game, something about it is just, it's so attractive to do those side little things or even fight a random machine that you come across because you want its parts to upgrade something. It's so alluring and I don't know what it is. It's if you feel like this about every other game, that
is how I feel. I will say this game's actually really good about it. So, like, I came to some ruins somewhere, and I'm just like, this totally looks climbable. This feels climbable. Not like a set piece that's like, you know, in cities where it's like it's really just the walls of the map. This is like this feels like I can get up here. And I spent ages like running around, and it turned out, you had to get to the right side at the back, and it was a bit of a mare to get there, but like you could. And I climbed all the way to the top, and was it worth it? I mean, I don't know. I just got some loot, but like, I wanted to do it, and I did it.
It scratched your itch. That's all that matters, right?
Right. So, and this is the thing: is my beef with Horizon has always been like sort of writing stuff. The game itself, fantastic, like gorgeous to look at. Combat, I still feel as like the physical combat, like the fast and quick strikes, are a little bit sluggish.
Felt that too.
Also, though, I feel like there is a lot to be specking into. I'm not sure what the best spec is for my experience points.
It's really tough. Like at the moment, I'm sort of specking out everything that I buy, everything that I've got, just so I can see, and then I'll try on a different one and see what happens. But I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. Right. Sometimes I see things, I'm like, oh, this one's got a more powerful, increases my melee, and I'm like, I like to melee, so I'll do that one. But then another one goes, oh, your acid arrows are much more potent. And I'm like, but
That sounds really useful.
I shoot animals all the time shoot the machines all the time with acid arrows. That would be so useful too. I have no idea which one's the best.
And a little
in
bit
about 2 weeks, someone's going to come out with a guide, and it's like, this is the dog's bollocks.
Optimal way to spend your points is do it like this.
Do this one. Don't do anything else.
Yeah. So I'm in that similar spot where I'm like, I was thinking about doing the melee, but then mostly, and it fits for the game, you shouldn't be fighting robot velociraptors. And when you do the secret strike, it's sort of like you have, I don't know, maybe a blade that's hidden.
Yeah.
And it is a one-shot kill, at least early on.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's useful. It's good. Anyway, I am enjoying the game itself, and the story, the writing seems to be good. And Aloy, I cannot tell, because outside of that early bit with Vol, she's great. She's really genuinely interesting. Is adapting to like the people.
Oh, is there a bit of fondness growing in there? Is there a bit of fondness for Aloy growing in there?
The bit, if I hadn't had that first 2 hours,
right,
that first section before you go west, I would be saying I was completely wrong, or they've completely changed Aloy, and I have nothing to worry about. But because they kept it in, I'm really torn. So I don't know what's going on, and I do need to get further in.
See what happens, yeah.
So yeah, I'm doing that. But before that, a word from our sponsor. And then I don't know how this gets edited in.
I don't know how this gets edited in either. Yeah, first we're going to do our Super Bros, though.
Never mind.
Never mind the sponsor. Ignore that bit. Seamless cut. We'll put sponsor.
I bet we totally forget.
Just do the never mind bit and we'll go to that.
Never mind.
Let's thank our bros, our super bros, over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who make this show possible each and every week. Those amazing people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Something, Jeremy Renner, Super Sus Ben Fry, or Jeremy Renner, Unofficial Avenger, just in case you didn't know which Jeremy Renner we're talking about.
The
Jeremy Renner, that's the one we're talking about. Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy Thief fanatic Joe McCormack, who actually does play FIFA. We confirmed on the last podcast.
It's a fact. We've seen him do it.
Exactly. My Juicy Left Nut, the super sexy producer Sean Catsford, the friendly patron, the gamer from Gaming Shire Dave Bindis, Sir Clark the 53rd, Rick the hentai dwarf, It Hurts the man who claims that One Punch Man is the best anime, and Kevin the #1 simp. God damn it!
The worst timing!
You ruin everything every single time except for the times I do it.
It's true. What terrible timing.
Of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here at the True Game Podcast.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Oh God, she's coming now? Oh, what do I do? Do I need to shower? Oh God, yes I need to shower. And I need to shave. Run! Come in. I was just don't worry about it. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready, babe.
All right. Well, okay. Let's.
Wow. Did you manscape?
Why, yes, I did, babe. Only the best for you. That's right. For the month of March, we are sponsored by Manscaped. Yes, support for Conbrosations is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in the men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide that trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CONBROBALLS at manscaped.com. Yeah, bro, we are sponsored by Manscaped.
Yeah.
A legit sponsor.
An actual sponsor. Fitting.
Exactly, fitting. We are burly men with hair everywhere,
That's
so this
true.
is great. This is
That's
perfect
true.
for us.
It is true.
And even better, I was a Manscaped customer before they came to us as well.
I wasn't, so I'm a convert.
So this is
Yeah.
it. This is it. We're converting you. But I'm happy because it's a company that I clearly like, and we get to talk all about them and tell everybody else about how
Yeah,
great they
we're
are.
sponsored now. They
Yeah.
did send us a bunch of stuff for free, which is cool. Also very high quality.
Oh mate, just
Like,
the
genuinely.
packaging as well. Like there's like all this like lovely packaging in black and gold and stuff like that. And yeah, they sent us the 4.0 package
4.0.
where we get the trimmer
Yep.
for your family jewels, and my god, it's so good.
It
It's
is.
so light and so sleek designed.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Ergonomically, they fit really well in the hand. Even this nose trimmer, which by the way I'm digging, isn't an all-in-one. That's a mistake. Yeah.
exactly.
So these are great. Yeah.
And they also send you a nice pair of boxes as well in the box right
That's
there.
right.
Manscaped all over. I put these on whenever my girlfriend knows that she's gonna get a good time.
Right.
You
Of
know?
course. Yeah.
She
We
loves
saw
the-
it. We saw it in the ad. So.
She's thankful, Manscaped. Thank you very much.
That's right.
But yeah, I really, really do love this trimmer. Multiple reasons. One, because I said it's like, look how beautiful that looks.
It looks like a ship from Star Trek or something.
exactly
Yeah.
so sleek and so
That's right.
shiny.
I dig the light,
the light on
so
it.
you can
Exactly.
see where you're going. Yeah.
And crucially, when you say light, it's also very light as well. I had
Yeah.
one before that was like big and industrial that barbers use, those big ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was scared using that thing because
right.
I didn't want to cut myself in a really bad way. This is so much cooler. It's so much lighter, and I have much more confidence when I'm using it.
I'm a guy that used to use like beard trimmers for it, and then you end up having to get 2 beard trimmers because you don't want to be using the same one, and then they're never the right. Like this one, it's got like 4 different guard lengths, so you can choose what size you want, and I can't remember what they call it. It was like a safety thing on it, and I don't know. I just feel a lot more confident using it.
With your family jewels,
Yes.
right?
So
Another thing that I really like about this, you know I love my tech, right?
yes, you do. Yeah.
I love that this is completely wireless charging
Yeah.
and everything. It's got a little cradle that you just pop it in. It's just like, I'm charging, don't worry.
It's cool,
I'll be
innit?
ready the next time you want
is
me.
cool, innit?
I love that. It's so cool.
Very
Yeah,
convenient.
Really, really awesome.
Very convenient.
Bro, this is something that you guys can get in on, everyone watching at home.
Yeah.
If you want to join the Manscaped crew, then feel free. Get 20% off and free shipping worldwide with the code CONBROBALLS at manscaped.com.
That's our real code.
That's a real code. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code CONBROBALLS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, let's get back to the show.
Get back to the show. This is- that was organic. They'll
Organic.
never
They'll
know.
never know. They'll never know. So yeah, you're saying like this is our first
Welcome
proper-
back.
Welcome back from the ad.
This is our first proper sponsorship.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Like from a company and stuff. And let us know what you think about the ad, because we've been brainstorming some other ideas to make them fun, so that it isn't just some like sellout type deal. But I want to make it so that it's worth your time to actually stick around for the ad. Everybody's seen it, every YouTuber they watch reading the ad, and normally people skip through it. And I'd rather that you're like, oh hey, the ad, I wonder what they're doing this time. So genuinely, seriously, let me know what you thought of that, and if you want us to continue making stuff, because it's also good fun. Like, we don't get to flex our creative muscles really anymore.
It was good fun. Like, this is all good fun. Us talking, we love the conversation, but this was a creative project,
Yeah.
and I thought it was quite fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one final point on our sponsorship stuff is, I know every YouTuber says, oh, I'll never do anything I don't believe in, but we really won't, because I would rather lose a sponsorship than lose a patron, whatever it's called, or lose someone from our community because people feel like we're selling out or picked a really bad product. So when we say we'll only do something we believe in, it's because we're actually going to use the product.
Yeah.
We actually care.
I'm really proud of us because, like, this is, like you said, this is our first proper sponsor, and it means like we're doing something good because they've obviously taken a look at us and they say, hey, we like these guys. This must be something we want to align ourselves with. And if it goes well and whatnot, there'll probably be more in the future and stuff like that. But thank you guys for bringing us this far. This is all down to you guys with your popularity. Sorry, with your eyes making us popular and stuff like that. I think it's been quite
It's
fun.
funny, I was thinking about this on the way over here today. I would not have gone for a sponsorship this early on,
Yeah,
but I'm really glad that you did.
yeah,
Because you're the sort of guy that you're more willing to go out of your comfort zone a little bit to like go for a thing, and I'm more like, I'm willing to do it, but I would want to make sure that like it's gonna pop. And you're more willing to go like, well, let's just do it and see what happens. And it's just a different set of styles. But
yeah.
It's cool.
But anyway, yeah, thanks for Manscaped for sponsoring us
right.
here, and thank you guys for being as awesome as you guys are. All right, bro.
Yes.
Today we got some interesting topics. It was a bit of a light news week until about yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like, man, nothing's been going on.
We're gonna have to really fill some dead air.
Exactly. And then two things popped up, and I think they're both worth discussing. And I'm gonna start off with. Okay, I'm gonna let you choose. Either we talk about
Let's do that
Pokemon,
one.
the discussion first, or we talk about the Sony blacklisting one review website for reviews. We're both going to talk about them anyway. Which
We're
one
going to talk
first?
about them both first. I feel like we've spoken a lot about reviewers recently, mainly me just beefing them out. So let's do Pokemon first.
Cool. All right. So, in case you guys didn't know, new Pokemon games have been announced.
Yes.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
Those are the new Pokemon games right there. This is Gen 9 of the whole Pokemon series.
Yep.
It looks like a modern Pokemon game. It's more of an open world scenario, a bit like Pokemon Legends Arceus.
This definitely feels like the style they're going for now, which is exactly the sort of game we wanted when like Red and Blue were out. So
Exactly. Now, I appreciate that they're doing this, right? I like the open world style, especially in Sword and Shield. I tried it out a little bit. I thought this is a cool, refreshing take and whatnot, and I'm guessing this is where everything's going to go in the future.
Yeah.
Cool. However, two things. One, Arceus just came out last month, and Gen 9's already being announced as the next game, and it's coming out this year as well. Two Pokemon mainline games in the same year.
I knew they announced it, but not this year.
Yeah.
I was for sure at the earliest 23.
Right? Now, that's the thing that I wanted to discuss. The fact that it's coming out so soon afterwards, like they haven't even managed to even get feedback yet to discuss whether or not the last game was well received, what was good, what wasn't, what can we improve, and stuff like that.
Recently?
For them to even implement it into this one, because this is basically already made. They're just doing last little bits on it in order to get it out this year. And also, I wanted to discuss with you afterwards what we would like to see from Pokemon, because I don't think that the open world necessarily is the only thing that we was expecting from a new Pokemon game, especially in 2022, where we're getting games like Horizon,
Everything's
Elden
open
Ring.
world, yeah.
Everything's massive, and there's so much more in depth. So, first of all, how do you feel about another Pokemon game coming out in the same year?
Well, especially because I just Googled it. It came out on the 28th of January. It was Legends Arceus.
Barely over a month ago.
So, like you said, I would be concerned that they haven't got enough data in yet about, like, is this a good transition? Are people digging it? Have they dropped off? If people have dropped off, who have they getting new users? All that stuff, right?
Why? What has caused them
what
to go
features
away?
are people using the most? What have they included that no one cares about? That kind of stuff, right? Which is all important metrics you can get from your users. So it does feel a little bit soon.
Yeah.
Even to be honest, it's a bit soon to announce the game, and I would have expected it to come next year.
Yeah.
At the earliest. A year later. I mean, that's still ridiculous. We're typically waiting, 3 years between?
Lots of time. I feel like we forget about Pokemon and the time that it goes away and comes back. Maybe that's the reason why they did it.
Maybe they're trying to speed up the
Yeah.
release, close that in so you don't get like spike, drop,
Yeah.
But a year seems, especially for it to be a fully fledged title, that seems a little fast.
This isn't like a side game. This isn't like Let's Go Pikachu or
it's
something
not like
like
releasing
that.
the Gwent as a standalone thing for The Witcher, right?
This is a mainline Pokemon game. They did show off the starter Pokemon.
Yes, they did.
I have to say okay, so try and say the names for me.
Why are they Italian? Sprigato.
There you go. That's even better.
Fede Choco.
Nailed it. Quaxley.
He's mine.
All of them like beautiful Italian accents, and then Quaxley.
I'm 100% picking Quaxley. First of all, I'm water type for life.
Yeah.
But but
He
also
looks the
that's-
most loserish out of all.
he looks
of them, though.
hilarious. I want to see the evolutions. I gotta know.
Yeah, I don't think they have
They
them on
won't,
here,
definitely
unfortunately. Yeah, but yeah, you get to play this, and I have to say, it looks nice, right?
It looks
I mean,
good. It would be great if it was running on, say, maybe a slightly more powerful Switch. That would be a good move.
If only they were coming out with a Switch Pro that
Right.
maybe they sent to developers, and then they were going to release that.
Nintendo, what are you doing?
Anyway, it does still look dated in terms of its visuals because it's running on a Switch.
It does, but I don't mind it.
It does look okay though. I don't mind that too much. The bit that I think we can discuss now about what I think they should be doing with Pokemon, I was expecting something more, especially in 2022. We are still in the era of Pokemon games having text popping up on the screen and going.
Oh, you want a fully voice acted game?
That's what I want. I mean, we had Pokemon the TV show back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And we loved that. And then when we got the game, we're like, okay, this is what games are now. 30
Do you remember
years
Pokemon
later, and we still
Stadium?
haven't got.
Pokemon Stadium had an announcer, had crowds.
Right? And the crowd goes wild. Oh, he's really going to feel that. In Pokemon, we still don't have that.
I
And
feel you. But
maybe
do you know
it's
the problem with that
a
is-
cartridge limitation or something, but why?
I don't even think so. I think it might actually. It might be. I do think though that the problem with that is, or an issue with that is that to do something like that, you're going to have your Geralts, your Kratoses, right? A specific character that you pilot. Whereas with Pokemon, the point is that it's you. You're in the Poke world, and so if stuff like they're going to speak with a voice that isn't yours, that's why reading it works better. So it's kind of that. It's that kind of escapism versus like the Kratos smash and grab fancy or whatever that.
I feel you.
So that was a burp. And speaking at the same time, that came out of nowhere. So I suspect that that's from a. I don't even know if they're considering it, but that's for me a big thing about Pokemon that makes it feel like it's my game as opposed to like a game that I play. Like I wouldn't actually like playing as Ash. I want to play as. I mean, I think because I'm playing as me in the Poké world, I'm making the decisions and I'm doing these things, even though it's like do it or don't.
Yeah.
It feels more like it's my game and it's my Pokemon team versus Ash's Pokemon team.
That's interesting. I can completely understand that point of view as well. I do feel like
I want to try it though.
Yeah.
I know I just made that big old spiel, but like I want to try it.
I feel like it would be cool. I think it would be cool to have like a main protagonist, whatever it might be, or say you even make two protagonists, but you give them their own dedicated voice lines. You make a male and a female version, whatever it might be. Same thing as every other game, boy and girl, and then have it be that character's adventure, and then the other characters are actually people that you can get invested in. And when you have like. Don't get me wrong, it was always funny and kiddish when you had your rival come along and it's like, you
Just
stink.
out of nowhere.
And it's like, all right,
Gary.
I know to hate you, that's all I know.
Yeah.
But you never really hated that guy. However, if you got a genuinely voice acted guy, you're like, God, I hate this guy.
Hey, loser.
I'm going to beat your ass.
I'm going to mess you up.
Rat-a-tat, I choose you.
Right. Then also I want the option to like rub salt in the wound. You know, like the Paragon Renegade thing, like beef him out a little bit. Yeah, your team sucks just like you.
Yeah, just like you.
Yeah.
Bitch. Maybe not in a Nintendo
Maybe not the
game.
bitch, but like or like the R-rated, like your team sucks worse than your mum or some shit like that. You know, anything like that. Do you know what's funny though? You were saying like things to include.
Yeah.
The things I think they should do are things they should stop.
Okay.
I want them to stop adding more Pokemon. I don't think, and this isn't like because I'm old and I can't memorize 151 in order anymore and stuff like that, but like, which at one point I'm pretty sure I knew.
Yeah. Of course he's 57, bruv. Of course.
Of course. Are you dumb? But I feel like they are getting away from what made Pokemon like fun and pure by just adding more new things, and really what they should be doing is adding new adventures. One of the things that made the OG games so cool was you had a bunch of new stuff that you could do as you're going through the game. So like first things you're in open areas, Pokemon in the grass, then you have to go through the Bat Cave, the Zubat Cave, and finally you get like someone with swim so you can use your Lapras and go places like
whichever Pokemon you chose, it will turn into a Lapras, by the way.
Yes, sorry, I didn't make that clear. Why did they do that?
Blastoise, I choose you. Why is
Why is it
Lapras here? Why is Lapras?
Why is it Lapras? The first time that ever happened, because I did it for my Blastoise.
Yeah.
Because Surf was also a very good move, or Swim, wherever it was.
Surf,
Yeah. I freaked out. I was like, what happened to my Blastoise? And got immediately out when he was there. And I was like, okay. And then got back in and went where I went to go. But like, that's my thing is I think the adventures should be the primary focus and not the new Pokemon. So like, if it was me, find a way to get us to the moon. Like, because there's all these weird like alien / Pokemon technologies that we don't understand. So take us to the moon. Let's do something underground. Let's do something underwater, like an Atlantis adventure type thing, but it's Pokemans. Like, that's the way I would go. Let's do like a Sky City. You know, like
I like that idea.
Right,
Sky
like
City sounds cool.
Like how many
These
of
are
these
cool
things like
ideas.
big Pokemon thing, like Master of Volcanoes and stuff. Like, okay, well, let's go into a volcano, but it not just be like a hot place with rocks. Let's make it like, oh wait, there's a volcano city down here. Oh, these ancient ruins, like ancient Egypt, but it's in a volcano or something.
Was it Cinnabar Island that we in the first one that with magma, the episode with magma?
Yeah.
That was so cool to me.
That was
Not
sick.
that it was
I love that episode.
in a volcano, but there was like an active volcano right in the town, and it played such a huge part to the thing. And the thing is, we had that in the games, but it was nowhere near as impactful because you didn't get to talk to anyone.
Right.
They didn't talk about the thing, and I feel like that's the thing that you can get with that fully
the
voice
Haunted
acted
Tower.
scenes. And whatnot. Yeah,
Right, like that could be its own, not exactly game, but like a big section of the game. You make the tower really big, and you can do like control. You could make it like a ashtray maze. Yeah, you know, there's a lot that you could do with like something haunted as well as there being functionally magic. You know,
yeah.
so that's the way I would do this: is less new Pokemon and more new adventures.
The new Pokemon thing really gets to me as well because they have got to the point now where they make stupid Pokemon.
They
like,
are silly.
There was a trash can Pokemon at one point.
Right,
I was
or like Sword and Shield. They're sort of Digimon at this point, and don't
the
get me wrong,
Sword and Shield was dumb. It was like it has a shield on his chest, and the other one had literally was carrying a sword in his mouth. And I'm like,
right,
what?
and like. I do like that they've changed things so like there's multiple types of it used to be like, okay, this guy's a fire type, I'll use a water type. Now it's like there's a bunch more stuff to it, and I actually enjoy that sort of nerd stuff. I like. And I think that could only happen with like more Pokemon sort of get this new feature in.
Yeah.
But at this point I think there's enough. Or not so much enough, but like roll out maybe instead of like 100 each time or however many it is, do like 20 new ones.
Yes.
Because we're doing an underwater adventure. We're in Poke Atlantis, right? And then 20 new like spirity type ones because we're like on the moon and there's like it's where Jigglypuff and stuff comes from, right?
Yeah.
So like make a couple of new things and a couple of really interesting ones so that you've got your rare things like your Magmas and your Mews and Mewtwo's. But you don't have to make a huge amount, and it's relevant because we're at a new area in the world. We're really exploring stuff. That's the way
That's where it would make sense.
That to me makes more sense. So that's what I think they should stop adding stuff.
I think they know as well that we're getting tired of the new Pokemon because
how many times can you just turn a duck into make it blue?
Right. Because they every single time you get a new game, they always seem to bring back the classic ones as well.
Right.
And that's signs that the new ones aren't good enough, that people don't want the new ones because they want the old ones. So like then you need to calm down.
Right. Can I just on that note,
go on.
The OG games within the first 20 Pokemon was basically the animals in your garden: Pidgey, Pidgeot, Pidgeotto, Caterpie, Butterfree, Kakuna, Metapod, Beedrill.
Yeah.
Guys, that was the first one. There was unlimited scope. Spearow, Fearow, half of
I love
these.
that you can remember these. These are cool.
Of course, man.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, like Execute was just eggs on a tree. Right, Diglett's just an easy to draw mole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not beefing anyone out, but like at some point you run out of things to do. Matchup was just a dude.
Yeah, and
he was a little sus.
It was sus that he was hanging around with your mum so much. That's the,
all my
that's
days if I was Ash. Machamp makes sense because it's like, okay, cool, he's got 4 arms, he's definitely not a dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Machop was just Machop
build.
was the small one. Machamp. Wait, which one? Machoke.
Machoke.
Machoke was the one that's just, okay, he's just a dude.
He's just a bodybuilder hanging around my mum.
It's like, Machoke, come over here. I need you to grab something.
Right.
Oh, no, I've got stuck under the sink.
Right.
Oh, no.
What will I do? So.
There has to be porn of that
Oh,
somewhere.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it, and I'm definitely
Jack,
not
find
googling
it for us. Find it.
it for research.
Yes.
So I do think that, and it isn't just because I'm old, because I'll learn the new Pokemon as I play. You know, it's not a big deal, but there's just too many, and also at some point the old ones become irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, whatever changes they're going to make to balancing, like, oh, it's fire fighting instead of just fire versus whatever, cool. You have to work those into the old Pokemon. That's the way. So, I mean, is there anything you want to see that they aren't doing that you think they should be?
Outside of the voice acting thing,
That I think would be sick, by the way.
I think it would be sick because then it opens up to making the story, making a much more broader, more impactful story, because there's only so much you can do through text.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. And then you can actually put in like big plot lines, and the thing is, you've got all the source material of all the TV shows that have been going on for years.
Yeah.
You could easily take any one of those plot lines and pop it in there and
Yeah.
just correctly voice act it. I think that's the key to bringing Pokemon into a whole new era.
Yeah.
I wonder if it is just Nintendo's boneheadedness to keep the Switch the way it is because it's selling and no need to upgrade it or do anything
How old
to
is the
it.
Switch?
I don't think it's that old. I think it's like 5 years old.
Maybe. Let's have a look. 2017, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing is, it's
It's
probably
not
due
old.
for an update in the next couple of years.
If they went for the Pro, right, when the rumors were going and the OLED was going to come out, that would have been fine.
I feel like a Pro next year would,
Right.
or this year, November this year would make a lot of sense.
I think they need to do something because if it is a limitation of the hardware, then this is your own fault, Nintendo, because you're literally limiting something amazing. And who knows what the gaming landscape will be
Yeah.
in 5 years, 10 years' time, whether or not Pokemon is even that big or whether something else has come and superseded it or something like that. This would have been the time, I think, to do
Yeah.
something great like
I also
that.
think they're missing standalones.
Yeah?
I think Detective Pikachu would make a great freaking game. You know, there's a bunch of...
They make Mario games of everything.
Right.
They could easily do a Pikachu something.
They could
or whatever.
absolutely do it where either you play as Pikachu or you play as a guy and suddenly, like in this case, wait, Pikachu speaks and it's Ryan Reynolds?
What?
You know, like, I think that would make a great standalone game, and it doesn't need to be 40 hours open world.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't need to be. I think there's a bunch of storylines from like the shows that could easily be adapted. I think if they wanted to, they could probably get away with like a Team Rocket game
Yeah.
where you play as Team Rocket, maybe you play as Jesse and James. You know, like, are you a boy or a girl? Are you Jesse or are you James? And like realize you're the bad guys. I mean, I think they always kind of knew they were bad guys, but they didn't realize they were evil. You know, they didn't realize Giovanni was evil.
Yeah.
So I think there's scope for a lot of stuff.
I think so too.
And I just think they need to stop making new Pokemon. Just stop. Like, honestly, not because I care about the number, but I feel like it is a crutch that they just lean on way too heavily that we'll just make new Pokemon, you know?
The problem is that Nintendo always sells Pokemon games.
Yeah.
They always sell, and I think that's the problem. And it's the same problem why we haven't got, like I just said, the reason why we haven't got Switch Pros, because they didn't want to rock the boat too much. They're on this rocket trajectory to sell the most consoles than any console ever before.
Yeah.
Why would you do anything to disturb that? It's like the GTA 5 thing. GTA 6 won't come out until GTA 5 is going
103 million Switches.
in 5 years.
That's
PS4
monstrous.
PS4's 114 or something like that. What the fuck? Oh shit, my drink fell over. My bad. 114 million
Yeah.
consoles, and that's in the whole lifespan, the whole like 9 years or however long it was, 10 years or whatever.
And this is what we've always said about Nintendo, where they don't factor into the Xbox versus PlayStation because they have the entire family gaming market.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's a massive market,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of repeat customers. It's a great market, by the way. You'll never hear me say a bad word about Pokemon.
Yeah.
What I was saying was I think you could improve the Pokemon games by doing this.
That's the thing. And that's the reason
They
why I
print
think
money, bruv. They
they
print money.
they're always gonna sell. So like, why would they care to do anything different? It would only be for their own benefit. Sometimes though, Nintendo does strike me as the company that does want to push the boundaries and do something cool and new.
I feel that.
When we got Breath of the Wild, it was like this new revolutionary thing, and it was a brand, and it took the world by storm.
Or the fact they went handheld in 2017.
Fully handheld. They're just like, fuck it, handheld. That's what we're doing. We could have done something that was like everyone else, a console and whatnot. We're going for
Imagine it's 20.
We're making this the thing.
14. We're going to compete with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Right.
Cool. What do you want to do? Hear me out. Handheld. You mean like the Game Boy? Better.
What about home gaming? Handheld.
Handheld.
That's all.
What about when people are at home? Well, just because it's handheld doesn't mean you have to hold it in your hands. We'll make a dock for it.
Yeah, done.
And then you have to take the hand holders and use those.
And this is going to be as powerful as the
Oh,
current
not
games
even
that
close.
comes
No, not at all.
out. This doesn't sound like a correct pitch, right? But somehow they made it work.
Because they print money. And
Yeah.
like you said, Nintendo are not good at losing money.
Yeah.
And I just think, given the opportunity, we could pitch, look, let's make a Detective Pikachu and see what happens, right? We'll make it fully voice acted. It'll be linear on rails. See if people buy it and love it. And if they do...
And they got that disposable cash where they could like
They've
play
got-
with something, right? They could have a little fun. They could see if this new avenue is something people are finding attractive. But they won't. That's the worst part.
Oh,
Go on.
cash on hand, $13.8 billion in 20...
So like a Starbucks.
That's also year over year, which is an increase. Jesus Christ, they've nothing but grown. 2018 it was 9.7 billion, 2019 11, 2020 16. So and as of December 21, $13.8 billion, which is 60% increase year over year.
So like they can afford to get extra cheese on their pizza.
Christ! Oh my days! These guys are going to Chick-fil-A or Chipotle and like, yeah, give me the avocado, 2 scoops of avocado.
2, bro.
Give me the guacamole, blood. Christ, I knew they were obviously doing good, but that is not their market cap. That is cash on hand. That is what they have as spending money. Basically, that's some.
But they won't spend it. Jack Virgin Diogo Hopper wrote in and he asked us to pick our Pokemon. Choose our starter Pokemon. Which one are you gonna go for, bro? Are you actually
I'm gonna do Quaxley.
Quaxley?
He's so dumb. To be honest, I feel like Quaxley or Furio or Coco probably have the best end evolutions.
Yeah.
I can't see what they'll be, but
I hope that Quaxley keeps the hat hair that he's got going or something like that.
Like it looks like a Mario nod.
Yeah, I hope it goes even further,
I wanna
and it turns
see-
into a sombrero at the end or something.
I want to see.
Like the evolution will be of the Pokemon, but also his hat evolves as well. It evolves into a fedora, and then it evolves into a big old sombrero at the end.
Yeah. I want to see like those 50s, the guys who had like the big tube hair.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Oh man, I can see Fuecoco. I can't say it with the vigor.
No
that
one
you
can.
do.
Yeah.
I can see him being absolutely fantastic. I can see him being like a fucking T-Rex of a fire.
Yeah. That's the problem though. I don't want it to be too Charizard-y. Like keep the.
I'm imagining. Do you remember the main orange Digimon?
Yes.
I'm imagining that basically for this. Spirigatogatototo.
Yeah.
The cat one. You can tell that's going to be like a lion of some sort, but I'm not
Yeah.
a grass kind of guy.
Yeah,
I touch grass regularly, so I don't
Obviously.
need to touch.
I feel like very few of the grass starters have been like dope. Don't get me wrong, Bulbasaur was cool and all that, and Venusaur was sick, but like,
But was
are
the
you
thing
ever
of-
gonna pick it over the other two?
Venusaur was a cool Pokemon, as in like it was powerful.
Also, Gary would kick
But
the
did you-
shit out of you with a Charizard.
Yeah, but the thing is that Venusaur kind of looked. I'm sorry to say the R word, a little retarded.
Oh
at some
yeah,
point.
his eyes pointing off the wrong side.
Venusaur.
Yeah, dude.
All right, yeah, cool. And then you got Blastoise on the other, and fucking cannons of water, and Charizard with fucking wings and a fire-breathing mouth. It's great. And then Venusaur.
This is what I want his hair to look like.
Oh,
I just sent it to you
boy.
on iMessage.
Oh boy, I got to see this.
That's how his final evolution needs to look, but it's blue, and he's a duck.
Done. So Quaxley, and I'm gonna
Quaxley
pick
for me.
Fuecoco.
By the way, you now can only say it that way.
Yeah, that's the only way you can say it.
I wonder what the evolutions are going to be. Oh, God.
It'll be
Oh,
interesting. We'll update you guys when we see the evolutions. Oh boy.
Also, one thing I want to see from Pokemon.
Go on.
I actually haven't played a Pokemon in a while. I want to stop seeing like
Bug Pokemon are the coolest. All of my team are just bugs.
And the thing is that you go to like the Elite Four,
right.
and they're all like, we got the sickest Pokemon ever.
Yeah.
One of them might be a bug Pokemon, might be
Right.
the sickest Butterfree you've ever seen in
Right.
your life. But then the rest of them are some other badass sick Pokemon. And then these guys are like, yo, my Caterpie is going to ruin your entire team. It's like, oh, come
Even
on.
freaking gym leaders who have to be together. Like, I only train water Pokemons. Bruv, you know for a fact you're getting clapped if anyone knows what your team is. You know?
And you're a gym. It's usually well established. This gym, bro,
You're
is
the
all about
water
psychic.
gym.
Exactly.
I know exactly.
No problem. I'll just pull out my Raichu. We'll see
Right.
what's going down.
Let me just go and find me a couple of freaking something.
Electabuzz, there you go, right
You
there. Even a fucking bog standard Electrode, we would be like,
Yeah,
that's
you're
it,
gonna
good
clap
enough.
everything.
And they're like, how? Oh my god, how did you stop me?
Right.
Whoa!
That was honestly, yeah, like I did not see that coming, bruv. You're getting murked every time. Every time. That's one thing as well. So like even the hardest bosses in Pokemon, I forget if it's like, I think it might be black or white. There's a Miltank that's
Yeah.
notorious, especially, do you remember Nuzlocke?
Yeah.
So this is around the time I was getting into Nuzlocke, and this, which if you don't know, is basically you play Pokemon on hard mode. Anytime Pokemon faints, you consider it to have died. You have to release it. There's a lot of cool. It's fun to make. It's like an added difficulty because Pokemon's too easy. It's too for everyone.
It's easy.
They should really put in a difficulty thing for Pokemon.
Just a slider. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Some of us don't have time to review
Innit?
this game.
Same as Elden Ring. So there's a way to artificially make it more difficult. But there's this Miltank claps everything you throw at it. Unless you bring a fighting type Pokemon when you just murk it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It happened to be really resistant to all sorts of damage. But I can't remember exactly what it was. But you bring a fighting... You bring it a freaking Hitmonlee. That's the point. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Just a boxer and a kickboxer. That's all it was. Oh my days.
Speaking of that, the only type to figure, that was partly the reason why nobody did pick a grass type in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because was it the first gym was Brock with a rock type Pokemon?
There was... So I feel like... Yeah, I think it was like Brock and then Misty.
Yeah.
So
So you
grass
would
would have
rock
been
up,
okay.
you would rock up to a rock type gym and you'd be like, cool, I want to pick the water one so I can knock that one first out of the way because you're starting off with a weak set.
Right.
And that would be great. And fire has a brute force as well to it. So and also you can do scratch and things like that, and you can make your way through. With a grass type, it's like Vine Whip. It's not that effective.
And also you start off with a bunch of things that were like buffs and debuffs, which early game aren't really useful.
Yeah.
So
Nice. And the best you had after your starter Pokemon was like a Pidgey.
right, exactly.
Again, not great against rock Pokemon.
So it's like I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. Isn't
That's
it?
been cool, like nerding out about Pokemon again. That's been fun. Anyway, that's I'll see what the new game is about. I haven't played a Brilliant Diamond yet. I bought the fucking game and I haven't bought it.
Oh, that would be
I
cool
played
to
it,
play.
so,
I just remembered.
but it'd be interesting to see a new gen.
Back in the day, or the way it works is like the reason you needed the gym badges was so like your Pokemon would respect you and obey you and stuff. It was like
Up to a level, innit?
right. It gave you like 10 levels or something where they would still do what you're told, and after a point above that level, they would start to like randomly disobey or use different attacks, not attack, get confused, that kind of thing. Well, now we can see that actually play out
Yeah.
a little bit better.
Yeah.
Also, how about you get too far the game, you haven't got the badges. What if your Pokemon run away, or like let's say you've got a Pikachu with you and it runs away? Now you have like a little mini game where you have to find your Pokemon and get it to come back to you. Of course it will.
That would be cool, especially if you can do the voice actor thing, like I said.
Right.
So it's like,
And then at the end,
You
it's
show
another
some actual
reminder.
thing.
Man, I really need to get a new badge, or like you figure out a way to word it so that like, man, I really need a reason for them to respect me. Gotta go train, and then you don't do it, and it runs away again, and you get that same like reminder. Hey, you've leveled up beyond a point now. You need a couple badges to like get your Pokemon back in line. I don't think these are like monstrously massive, game-changing, world-changing implementations. All of that, yeah, that would be a massive game. Probably wouldn't run on the Switch, but like 1 or 2,
How would you feel?
Good.
This is an interesting one because one of the key things about like Nintendo games is that you just pull out the fucking cartridge and then your whole
never
game
pull
is
out.
on there. You never
Yes,
pull out.
I love cartridge
And
games,
I
by
do love
way,
the
yeah.
cartridge that you can just pop in there, and I love it. It's just so tiny. It's so cool. But what if, in order to make our dream a reality of this game that we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's one of those situations like Halo Infinite where you put the disc in or you put the cartridge in and it just downloads the game from the internet rather than thing. It would suck in terms of game preservation,
Yeah.
and it would suck that you have to do that. But in order to make this a reality, like it can't fit on a cartridge, guys, you have to download it. Would you be that
If it
mad?
was like a limitation, I feel like cartridges are obviously an obvious limitation. They're a bottleneck. However, if they did it slightly differently, where instead it was like, okay, this is a fully online game in the sense that you need to load onto a server, but all your choices are stored on the disc. So all that happens is when you take it to your friend's house, you just put the disc or your cartridge in, and then when you boot the game up onto a clean server, it just says, oh, these are the choices you made, here's your game again.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to get around it, because I do love cartridges and blowing to clear them out. So
Which apparently did nothing, by the way.
apparently made it worse.
Apparently it was
It
like
100% worked, but I have no proof for that.
literally you removing it and putting it back in was apparently the reset that it needed.
Yeah.
But we always used to take it out and blow it, and we're like, oh, the blowing did
That
it.
definitely helps. So I think that's probably the fix, is that they make it online in the sense that like, because also what's the storage on Switch? Same sort of.
Yeah, the storage on Switch is probably not that good. You probably have to buy like a memory stick for
Right.
it. But you know what? Memory cards, you can get quite big memory cards.
You'd have to do a second Switch though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe make it internal memory or something like that. So I feel like stick with the cartridge, but then Nintendo have to eat up some server space.
They have to finally do something with that Nintendo Online subscription
Right.
that I kept for 3 years, even though I never used it.
You know? I think that they're on something there, because there's definitely a charm to that, you know. But there is also something to be said for like doing it that way, you know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. We'll see.
I'm trying to find out our next topic. So the next topic we're going to talk about is a website called Stevitor.
I don't know.
I'm gonna find it for you now.
That sounds really interesting.
Here
But
we
do
go.
you know
Yeah.
what else is really interesting?
Go on.
A bunch of people whose names I can't remember, which is why we have to write them down. Are true gamers over on patreon.com/conversations that make this show in particular happen.
I'm glad you remembered because I would have forgotten right there. But yeah.
Who do we have to thank?
Our true gamers who support us are Adam the High Quality Potato, Jeremy Horde, Sheps is Crusty Right Nut, Isak Manny, Adam the Tobias Forge Sim, Clark53, Kevin Crow, Sab2557, Joe McCormack, Random Wavelength, Billy, Diogo, Buttermilk Jesus, aka Zach Chino. Something about buttermilk just
I don't know
gets
why
me.
it cracks me up.
It's a normal word, well, a half normal word anyway. Sussy Imposter Amogus Moment, The Fishy, The Jackal, Mikey Tilly, Alpha Aquile, Max H, Make Bindis Mod, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, and Albie Scory. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and everything going here. Conversations!
That's right.
You
If-
guys are
If
legends.
you feel like it, you can head over to patreon.com/conversations and join over 50 patrons. You get exclusive stuff for as little as $1 a month, access to our No Holds Barred Conversations podcast, which actually we're recording today. So we'll talk about anything there. You thought we were loose here, like, mate. It gets, yeah, we get the baby oil out for that. At $5, the True Gamer, you support this show in particular, get your name read out. And the Super Bros, who just are excellent, and you grow an extra optimal inch.
Exactly. It grows immediately. As soon as you
It's a
hit that
fact.
button. Oh, pledged. Oh, what's going on in my pants? That's what happens right there.
Yeah, it's really, really worrying for the girls, but
Yeah, really, yeah. it's a bit-
oh god, no,
No, this is not what I wanted.
That's right.
Unpledge. If you guys don't want to support us, though, that's totally fine. Just being here on YouTube, on podcast services, giving us a like, subscribing, rating us 5 stars, that's all helpful and stuff like that. We love and appreciate all of you guys. Before we actually move on to that topic, maybe we should do our correcting conversations.
Oh, yeah, that's right. One of my favorite segments of the show, never forgotten, never once. So if you're new around here, we say stuff on the internet. We've never let facts get in the way of a strongly held belief or even a basic opinion that we just want to say. And sometimes we get things incorrect. When that happens in this episode, all you have to do is head down into the YouTube comment section there and abuse YouTube algorithm. This is why we do it. And leave a comment. Actually, at 1572, and you said, wait, there's not 72 seconds in a minute. Damn it, that's going to be one.
Wait,
frick.
What? Get going, guys. Get in that Conbrosations comments.
1542, we'll just edit that one out.
When you said this, it's actually that. And then next week on the podcast, we will read out your comment and credit you.
One correcting conversations that I actually forgot from last episode.
Okay.
So Runic Firebird, he came at me. He was like, "Yo, the fuck." And I think what it was is that I had it in a filter of things that I hadn't responded to yet, and that's why I didn't see it. He goes, "Once again, I have to step in for Sheps and call him out for his lack of DC knowledge.
This freaking guy.
In particular, Shazam again. Dr. Sivana is a villain in the Shazam comics. He is the main villain of the older comics, you pleb."
I'm sorry, I'm not 85 years old.
You just look it, that's different.
Wow.
He was even one of the main villains in the rebooted comics. So what's your excuse now?
I can't read.
That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie. Now the powers he has are different, yes, and I do like Black Adam as a villain more.
Yeah.
But damn, get your DC knowledge right. Sincerely, your Shazam stan, Runic Firebird.
Marvel's better. Get fricked. I don't even believe it.
It's not even close.
I just was like, frick it. If I gotta go down, I'm taking you with me.
I'm sorry. Get fucked, Runic Firebird. Okay.
Innit? Infinity War was better than Justice League.
Exactly.
It's not true.
Okay, so that was last week's one. He told me to look at that. Let's have a look at this week's one.
I didn't know you could do that. Just click on the number of comments.
Yeah, click on that.
That's super useful.
Okay, so
I don't think there's any. We're super freaking smart.
Mate, I don't see anything wrong here.
And these guys are really dumb. They're dumb.
Sean
Not a
decided.
silent B. It's a capital B. And dumb.
Sean decided to correct my timestamps. I think I made some typos in there.
Sick. But you made typos in numbers. Amazing.
And another one here. Thy name be the.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Thy name be the cunt sniffer the fourth.
Oh my days. I feel like, you know, anything we say on here, technically, like the YouTube algorithm is scraping the things we say out loud.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be hard to explain.
Flag. He just says correcting conversations. He doesn't say anything after. I don't know
Just
if
made us say his name.
I don't know if he was going to write something there or something like that. But
That is, I mean, imagine sitting down like, yeah, the name is @gmail.com. Applying for a job. Oh yeah, if you'd like to email, my professional email is
Random Wavelength writes in. He says, correcting conversations. This is a correction to Sheps. They pick on you a lot, don't they?
They do.
They do. Looking at the video, I have noticed a small bump on the back of your head.
Oh yeah.
A small bump on the back of your head. Now, I believe to correct this, you can just cut it off with some scissors or even some trimmers. You see, you use for your ball sack. So the one that we got now.
Wait, how the frick did he know that?
How did he know? You're welcome in advance. So yeah, he wants to get rid of your.
First of all,
your totally cool top knot.
Fricked, you're a racist because this is a Japanese samurai top knot. A la Jin Sakai.
What have you got against Jin Sakai and the Japanese
Racist. Also,
culture?
mother fricker. I saw you also with a man bun in one of your audition things on Twitter, you freaking cunt. How dare you? Also, as if he can see it from all the way up there.
Innit? You're all the way up there. To you, it just looks like his hair.
Like, what did you just buy a pair of binoculars?
God.
The freaking guy. Was he like 9'4"? Freaking guy.
This isn't so much a correction, but Giuseppe wrote in and he says at 57 minutes, he says, I agree and also disagree with Sheps, but I understand it. I don't know. Aloy had been pushed away from her clan and lived alone with Ross, so her distrust of people is understandable. How she acts is understandable, but I agree with Sheps because she is cold as ice in Zero Dawn. But now in Forbidden West, she's cold, but she accepts more. She accepts more and is evolving, and that's the thing that I would say.
That's the thing that I'm.
Just get in there, right?
See, this is for me is like it's one of those things where it's like those first 2 hours, she's just cold,
Yeah.
and then as soon as you get back to Tower, she's like halfway through thawing. So I feel like the transition was poor, but it does feel that way, and I'm with you. And I also do get like I understand that it makes sense. They wrote it in such a way that her acting those ways makes sense. But just because it makes sense doesn't make it good, or doesn't make it something I vibe with. And that's the most important thing. I've always said I don't like her. I think she's written poorly.
I think it's an error of the first game that they're trying to now remedy in the second game, and unfortunately,
basically,
that
you're
stuff
saying
isn't.
you think Gorilla knows
I think they've seen
I'm right, and
the criticism, and I think
Yeah.
they believe it's valid as well. They're like, okay, maybe we went a little bit too far into this section over here.
Right.
We're gonna pull it back, and we're gonna try and
Right.
redeem her.
and
And if they do redeem her, because I still don't know, then we'll.
that makes
Well,
it
conversation
that
to talk about.
would also make it for a good like not redemption but growth arc for
Yeah.
them to go look at. You find her in this first thing, she's thrown into the world, and by the second game she's really growing. Now the other flip side of that is they do the whole thing with Kratos in one game, where he goes from, I mean, you never played the originals. I
No.
did, but he goes from like murderer of gods, man who just breaks things, to who's that makes him afraid of real relationships, and the only person who's ever really able to get close to was an ice giant.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So functionally a god, right? Who then develops a lot, you know, in one game. If you'd never played any of the God of War, we never did, and it was a great way in to learn about Kratos and experience this guy. You knew everything you needed to know. Maybe you missed the significance of the Chaos Blades,
Yeah.
but other than that, you know, and they did that in one game. But I mean, I'll take an improvement. Improvement's good.
Yeah.
More better games are more better.
Yeah. And one final line he says here, he says, and the more the story continues, more her character is evolving, and I'm not even at 50% of the game yet. Bro, I'm with you. I'm not even at 50%, and I'm loving it so far.
I am starting to feel that she's becoming more human.
Yeah.
I already feel less like, and I did mean it as a joke, but I did mean it that at the end of Horizon Zero Dawn, she could have pulled off her face. I'm in a T1000. By the way, last episode I was saying T100. It was, I don't know why I was saying it at the time. Listening back to it, I was in the live chat, it was bugging the hell out of me.
Is it T800?
T1000.
T1000 is the liquid metal one, right?
Oh, is it?
And I think T800 is the Terminator, the one that we know.
Whichever, man. Like
T800.
you might be right.
Yeah, T800.
You were right, but like
The thing is, I
was
didn't
saying
say it in the episode.
Yeah.
I said T1000 as well. I was just because I think about the cool liquid metal guy.
I freaking love those movies. But like, she could have pulled off her face and been like one of those robot dinosaurs that was made to look like a human instead, and I wouldn't have been shocked, except that we saw her grow up. But
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't have been surprised. And in this, she actually feels human in a lot of cases, and she's pleasant and charming, and then she pushes when people need to be pushed, and she is tender to them when they need to be tender, like Itamen, the little kid.
Yeah.
She's really nice to him, and then you get to the first outpost, and this dude's kind of like swinging his dick around trying to make the workers not work, and she's like, "You're kind of a dick,
Fuck
bro.
you, bruv. We're gonna sort you
You know,
out.
by the way, I'm Aloy. Like, you know, the Aloy."
The savior of Meridian.
Yeah, heard of me, bitch. So like, she flexes when she needs to flex. She's understanding when she needs to be understanding. So I'm yeah,
Good.
better.
I hope it even more improves in your eyes.
Yeah, otherwise it's a great game. Like, I hope what you're saying is going to happen. I feel like it is.
I like it as well.
But otherwise, like, just as a game, with like forgetting the MC, 9 out of 10. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Speaking of MC, that's
Yes.
correct. Let's move on to our next topic. So, the website actually is called Stevio. It's an Australian outlet that reviews games. Very small, not very many like followers.
Everything's sounding Italian these days.
Yeah.
Stevio!
Yeah, it's really strange. But they are on Metacritic. I don't know what the requirements are to get on Metacritic,
Right.
but they're on there even though being so small. And they've had a bit of controversy recently.
Okay.
So they reviewed Horizon Forbidden West
Yeah.
recently. And a lot of people, vast majority of people, gave that 10s and 9s out of 10.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of good points to raise. There was obviously some criticism, some things going back and forth. Stevia gave it a 6 out of 10.
Even with OG Aloy, it's not a 6 out of 10. That's ridiculous.
This is the thing. Now, anyone can give whatever score they want,
No, that's
as long as they
stupid. That's
explain
stupid.
their point, right?
Horizon Zero Dawn's not a 6 out of 10, and I got beef with that game.
They gave some really ridiculous points, talking about how like stealth is a bit too like good.
Oh yeah, you read that.
That was actually from the one I read out was from GameSpot, but they've
Okay.
mentioned similar points in there. But stuff like that, and people were just like, there are some people out there, especially in the console war, who really take Metacritic scores really, really seriously,
Yeah.
unlike us.
Yeah.
And they were like, you've just brought down the whole Metacritic score with your bullshit review of some, and you can tell from the review that you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Your words don't make sense in terms of reviewing a game. They even had a, I'll have a look here, I'll show you. They reviewed Death Stranding. They gave Death Stranding a 35 out of 100.
I didn't like Death Stranding, but that's ridiculous. Like the acting, the characters, the world building, the walking on its own, the custom soundtrack, the graphics,
Even if you
the
don't like
building,
the
which
story
I
at the
hate
end.
the building, but like I know people vibe with it.
Yeah.
Like
If you don't like the story at the end, you still have to recognize that it's got
that's
stellar
ridiculous
quality of game and voice acting and stuff like that. Anyway,
That's not even funny ridiculous though.
let me read out what he said
okay.
for the Death Stranding. Death Stranding is an irredeemable piece of garbage that should serve as a warning to publishers who give developers carte blanche to create art.
I was actually just checking that you really were reading the actual thing, and you were, and that's that maybe it's a troll, but it's not even very good. Like it's not very. If you're gonna troll, it's good to be funny or just be brilliant, and that's neither.
And then I'll give you a couple of examples of other games that they've reviewed. So they reviewed Uncharted Legacy of Thieves and gave it a 70, despite everyone else giving it 9s and 10s as well.
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima, they gave a 70, despite other people as well giving it like 8s and 9s as well.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. So I didn't play.
Hold on,
no,
let me
okay.
go through some of these.
Sorry.
Days Gone, they gave it a 60, whereas most people are giving it higher. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to PlayStation games, they consistently review it below what the average score
What
is.
about Xbox?
Xbox games, they gave Halo Infinite a 95. They gave Forza Horizon 5 a perfect 100 out of 100 score. They gave Psychonauts 2 a 90, a Flight Simulator 95, Gears Tactics an 85, Forza Horizon 4 a 90. Basically, if you look at all of their scores, it's when it's a PlayStation game, they're below the average, and when
Yeah.
it comes to Xbox, they're above average. Giving us the idea that these guys are not
The Xbox, in all the worst ways possible, they're toxic as frick.
exactly. They're not a review website. They're just fanboys.
They're propaganda.
Who have managed to
Yeah.
get themselves onto Metacritic, which is not what you want on Metacritic. It's supposed to be
Right.
professional, even though critics are just awful anyway.
Critics aren't. At best, they're journalists that are in gaming.
Exactly.
You know?
Go on, is there something you want
Well,
to say?
I was going to
before-
say, like, let's say someone gave Ghost of Tsushima a 70. I think that's low. Yeah, I'm a fan of it, but like, there are good reasons. To, like, the final boss fight sucks. The story's a little bit lackluster in comparison to something like The Last of Us or God of War, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, but when you look at the game overall, like, how good are the jewels? The fact that the Legends mode's totally free, the story overall, the character building overall, how good the DLC is, like, that has to factor in. If you were to review the game today, DLC has to factor in.
Yeah.
You know, how good things like the parkour are, how beautiful it is, the loot system, the vistas. Like, I think giving it a 7 out of 10 is very harsh. I think realistically it's... I love the game, but it's probably 85
Yeah.
overall, whereas something like Spider-Man or God of War is going to be in the 9s.
Yeah.
Right? Fair enough. 80, 85, I think that's fair. But, like, the frick?
This is the thing. And now, regardless of whether or not you agree with their scores or anything like that, the trend that they seem to review PlayStation games far lower than Xbox games is apparent. And yesterday, the review embargo for Gran Turismo 7 went up.
Right.
We got all the review scores. It's currently landing around like an 88 on Metacritic.
This is a cheap copy of Forza.
Well, this is the thing. Everyone in the community was like waiting for their review, and it was gonna be something like 5 out of 10. The car. If you're not a fan of, there was one place actually called Fanbyte, Gamebite or something like that, who said this is pretty hard to recommend to somebody who's not a fan of cars.
Yeah.
A car game. No,
You know the thing with FIFA? I find FIFA really easy to recommend to people that love shooters.
yeah, and Animal Crossing. Right? It's like,
What are you doing? What
how
are you
is
smoking?
that minus 10 points? How do you negative that? How do you? It's for anyway. People were expecting that sort of thing.
Right.
However, they decided to post an article saying where their Gran Turismo review is, and I want to read out what they said here. It goes, okay. Over the past 2 weeks, okay, so basically it goes, if you're reading this, you're likely curious whether or not Servitor will publish a Gran Turismo review at 10 p.m. East AEDD tonight.
Yeah.
The simple answer is we're not ready and we haven't even started. Over the past 2 weeks, Sony Interactive Entertainment Australia and its contracted PR agency, Poem, have only responded to 2 attempts to communicate by Servitor. One was to acknowledge the email about Horizon Forbidden West, and was unable to accommodate us, they said. And also one to request a review for Gran Turismo 7 code. And apparently they have not received the code from them.
Surprising. What
right?
a shock.
Now, they go on to say, like, we pride ourselves of fair and honest reviews.
It's obviously not true.
Despite the evidence being
Yeah.
there for them, and saying that they're like all about gaming and all about how they pride themselves of these reviews, etc.
Lies, but yeah.
And I was like, I completely understand.
Yeah.
I completely understand because of your clear favoritism and no ability to be objective in any sort of way.
Yeah.
The community, some people in the community see this as a red flag, however, that PlayStation are blacklisting certain people from reviewing games. Clearly, was someone who isn't favorably reviewing them. But I personally don't see it as the case that they're blacklisting someone who isn't giving them favorable reviews, rather that they're blacklisting someone who clearly can't do their job correctly. And therefore isn't allowed the early access. They're not allowing them not to buy the game.
Yeah.
They're not saying you can't talk about our game.
Yeah.
They haven't come out with a lawsuit against them.
Yeah, they're just not going to help them.
They're just saying you can't get an early copy.
Yeah.
Do whatever you like after that.
This doesn't feel like it's in good faith. Get your own copy if you want to review the game.
That's my particular feeling.
I
on it.
feel the same as well. Like if it was 5 games and 1 came in like significantly low, then you'd say, okay, well maybe that reviewer should have done a better job, but like didn't like it or whatever. But if every single game is coming in way below average,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that critics, can be trusted and it's like the hive mind, but if everybody agrees that it's brilliant
Yeah.
for a variety of different reasons, like Horizon Forbidden West is brilliant for a variety of different reasons. For getting the protagonist, I'm probably giving it a 9 out of 10. It is a fantastic game. Now, the story might suck, and that could drag it down a bit.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be gorgeous and fun to play, right? So, I feel like this is them saying it's not in good faith.
Yeah.
You're consistently doing us dirty.
Colin Morelli, a guy that I follow, he has been blacklisted by Sony as well. He was blacklisted from Sony because he would be fair and critique whenever he saw something.
Yeah.
And when he would critique, he would really go into them because he felt like that was appropriate to do. When PlayStation did something wrong, because he is a big PlayStation fan with a PlayStation podcast.
I mean, he learned to code for the Vita, right?
Exactly. So when he sees something bullshit that he feels like is bullshit,
Yeah.
he will voice his opinion. And because he was so harsh on his critique, they didn't like that and they blocked him. And I was like, that's bullshit. That's not fair. Just because you don't like what he's saying, it doesn't mean that you can go against him.
Right.
And he has an affinity for PlayStation.
Yeah.
So that's wrong. However, what Colin Moriarty did, he decided to make his own product that is far better, even without the early codes, and create a community that will come to him weeks after the game comes out, all the reviews come out,
Yeah.
because they want to hear his thoughts.
Yeah.
What these guys have done is not get an early code and then cry about it, stamping their feet on the
Right.
ground and going, "We're the victim," when really you're the one that put yourself in this situation.
Right, you do something bad, get in detention, and then cry that you were victimized.
Right.
But you did it.
If they had done a review and they were like, "Do you know what? This point is bad. This thing is bad. The performance is terrible. This is something like that. There are these good points over here, but this is what I'm saying over here." And then PlayStation were like, "We don't want negative reviews." There you go.
Absolutely.
Then the community would even come up for you.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Yo, what's going
These
on?"
are fair criticisms. It was done in good faith. These are valid points. We mentioned a bunch of them. Horizon
Exactly.
Zero, Forbidden West. The
I said the
Melee
combat was a bit clunky.
Yeah.
I said I felt like the light and the finger attacked them. And I'll bring up these criticisms.
power slide makes no sense. She got a jetpack.
It just keeps going. But they seem to not do that, especially when it's clear and obvious that you're giving the recent Xbox games these really high praise, despite them having flaws as well.
Many flaws, arguably a lot more than the PlayStation games, which doesn't mean they don't deserve high rankings. But like, you can't be saying Halo Infinite's a perfect game,
Yeah.
or Forza's a perfect game, when you then go and say that like Forbidden West isn't.
Exactly. And are far from it as well.
Yeah.
More closer to a meh game.
Right.
Anyway, I wanted to address this because it did come up in the community, and also Zach sent me the thing as well. He sent me like, people were concerned that it's a red flag that publishers will do this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not so much a red flag because, like I said, they're not banning you from ever mentioning the game.
Yeah.
They're not banning you from ever playing the game. You can bring out your review afterwards, and if it's scathing, and if it's interesting, and if it brings up valid points and people want to talk about it, then it will be talked about.
Yeah.
Them denying you that early copy doesn't change that fact. But because you got it taken away because of your clear fanboyism, your clear bias to one sort of platform, that I can't shed a tear for you. I can't shed a tear for you. I'm all up for bringing down a corporation for doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
But this was not that instance, and I'm not going to be on your side.
Again, it's very easy for people to say, "Oh, you're just Sony ponies," but every time Sony's made a mistake, we've constantly called them out on it
we
because
are right here.
we also understand they don't care about us. The second they think it's more profitable, they'll sell us down the river, just like Xbox did.
I can't wait for this Spartacus service to come out because
I feel like we're going to rip into it.
I can already see there's so many flaws, and I'm just going to be here like, here's that fine-tooth comb I was looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know?
messed up, and all they had to do was listen to the podcast and subscribe to the $69 tier. Nice.
And that's the thing. If we don't get codes from PlayStation because we're too small. We're not recognized by anyone, right?
Yeah.
We just got our first sponsor, which is cool. Maybe in the future we will. But if PlayStation were to give us a code, and then we were to be the usual critical self that we are, and then they take that the access away, I wouldn't go make a big stink about it. I'd mention it. I'd be like, look, we don't get codes from them anymore. Maybe because we're a bit overly critical, or because we raised these points that maybe they didn't want us to raise. But that's not good. That doesn't matter. We just still want to continue doing that because we believe that's the right thing.
Yeah.
And then go about our way. Not create a whole article and push it out to people to be like, everyone pay us attention and also share this so we can get some attention for what injustice that Sony's done.
Also, just like we're not going to do it. It doesn't make sense. Like even I'm not giving Horizon low scores. I don't even give Horizon Zero Dawn a low score.
Even though the things you got, but even if you did, you bring up in your review and you bring up your point. You'd be like, I didn't vibe with Aloy. I found this was inconsistent, that was inconsistent, and then I bring up my point, and then that's the review. Not these guys where they're like, you know, it just doesn't feel like the tires are moving in the correct speed of the tarmac right there. So 5 out of 10.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like a perfect example, I did like a pretend Sifu thing.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 probably.
Also,
it's fun.
I want to bring up one
Not
point
for me.
I want to bring up one point here. The part here in the Death Stranding review, irredeemable piece of garbage. That's not a review of a game.
Yeah.
That's just you acting out like a petulant child.
Yeah, that's you beefing out something for it's because it doesn't hurt. First of all of these games, this is always a thing, and I hate to say this, but like you can always turn it off.
Yeah.
If it's that bad, you can turn it off.
And that's a statement in itself. You can say like, here's my review of Death Stranding.
After 4 hours, I turned it off.
After 4 hours, I turned it off because I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's a statement in itself, and that can go around. People can
And
converse
I'd
about
actually say that's more powerful than saying it like
exactly. Irredeemable piece of garbage.
that. Which is not true. I don't like. I actively dislike. There's just so much about it I don't like. But there are things that you have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
The quality of the graphics, how smooth it runs, the interesting concept, the voice acting, the quality of just about everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't vibe with it. It wasn't for me.
Here's the Halo Infinite review and the alpha.
Oh my god. 4 words in.
Halo Infinite is a shining example of what Halo game is at its core. And Alpha was like,
What?
Let me just have a look at what the replies were again, because he says, wait a minute, you mean like the open world games in prior? But because Halo games are open world at their core with a wide range of 2 environments.
I mean, yeah, facts, isn't it? Like, it's just it's just propaganda, and it doesn't even make sense. A cursory look at what they're saying makes it not make sense. Like, Halo Infinite has a lot of good points to it, but it isn't, first of all, a shining example of what Halo is. That sounds like someone that's never played Halos 1, 2, 3, right? Simple as. I'm not saying Infinite's bad. I'm saying Halos 1 through 3 are a shining example of what Halo is, and this ain't it. It's disconnected from the world at best, and at worst it seems like propaganda.
Yeah.
I hope they're getting paid by Xbox, because imagine being that stupid.
Well, this
for
is
free.
This is the thing. I mean, I don't, obviously, like I said, because of the tweets that I make to try and poke fun.
I mean,
I'm in the community now of all the fanboys, and I get to see everything. And people took a bunch of pictures from his Instagram, and it's him like hugging an Xbox and like shaking hands with Phil Spencer. It's very clear what's going on here. Now, I'm not saying that there's not going to be Sony ponies out there that do exactly the same thing. They're just as dumb.
And Sony's also a corporation.
Exactly.
You know,
and they're simping for a corporation.
Yeah.
But I'm more happy that this outlet, I should say, is being pushed away and not getting that access, because they're gonna put out their reviews 2 weeks afterwards, after the game goes on general sale, and they put it out. By then they'll be out of the conversation, and their content isn't enough to bring the conversation back.
That's what I was gonna say.
So that's good.
Because you made the point about Colin Moriarty.
Yeah.
And his content is good enough that it's a whole new conversation. What does Colin think and why?
Yeah.
And these guys, well, I mean, I'm sure the Xbots will love to read the PlayStation slander.
Yeah.
But wait, is it slander or is it the other
Slander,
libel?
Yeah. Oh, it's print. It's libel. Yeah, that's
Libel's
right.
in print.
J. Jonah Jameson taught me one thing, and that's it.
So like, I just it's not representative. And even games we love, I was going to cough, but then didn't.
I was going to say, what's that?
We were asked, okay, what are some flaws about God of War, which for both of us is the best game ever made.
Yeah.
We haven't finished Horizon. I doubt that will beat it out, but maybe. We had a bunch.
Yeah.
Like the combat's good, but relatively repetitive. It doesn't do anything particularly new.
Zach Jr. brought up that point that the finishers are like, there's about 3
5
different
of them.
enemy types that you can do finishers on, and they're all the same. And I was like, fair point.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair point.
The one take camera angle wasn't the first to ever do it. I think we did it the best, but like there were a bunch of things, and it's still the best, and blah blah blah. Like, we've never said. I mean, it might be a perfect game, but it's not a perfect game.
Yeah, it's not a perfect. It's our perfect game.
Exactly.
It's not the perfect game.
It's
ever
not
made.
perfect. Yeah, exactly. So even our best ever has flaws.
Yeah.
You know, we're pretty honest when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
And that just isn't. Like, even if you are, like, I'll say it, OG Halo, I'm a fanboy, straight up. There are still flaws in it. Same with Mass Effect. There's always a flaw. And also part of what makes things great is those, like, perfect imperfections. The fact that, like, sometimes there's that one bit where, like, the audio doesn't sync up with the lips and you catch it every single time. You know, stuff like that, right? But it doesn't change that you love the game. It doesn't change that it's brilliant. But you have to be honest and fair about it.
Exactly.
That is ridiculous. One bad review, if it was like, you know what, Returnal or Deathloop, whatever it is, it's just not that good. Not everything was cracked up to be 7 out of 10. Everybody else is giving it a 9.
One would have been something.
75.
Yeah.
Everything else, really good. Ratchet and Clank, really good, but it's, it's a bit short. Something like that. Okay, yeah, a bit short. 85 instead of a 90.
Yeah.
Okay, fair criticism. Maybe a bit harsh to docket points for that, but like, okay, cool. But the fact that every single one is multiples below everything else, that's sus.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't feel good faith to me. Get fricked. I think that's all about.
That's all the main topics. I've got some wrap up stuff to talk about.
Man.
So apparently Valve would be happy to help Microsoft put Game Pass on Steam.
I did see that, yeah.
Gabe Newell apparently said this in an interview. It was sort of like a conversation in passing. It wasn't them making a statement. They're like, well, we want Game Pass. Well, it's just up to Microsoft to flick the switch or anything like that. It was just mentioned it in passing.
Yeah, we do it.
And I thought it was super interesting because, as we know, Game Pass isn't making a profit.
Yep.
And it would be interesting to know what they would do in terms of, because over on PC they have Game Pass, but I'm guessing people don't like the launcher like they did with the Epic Game Store.
One of the big things about the PC is you've got like 15 different launchers, and they hate that.
And they really love the fact that it would come to Steam and it could be in there. But I was more interested in the economics of it because
Steam's known for taking a cut and a fairly big one.
That's the thing. Steam is it 30% or is it 40%?
It's some. I think it's 30. I think it's 30 and it goes down if you're really popular.
That
it might
was
be
it.
40 and it goes down.
That was
something
it.
like that.
That was it. Yeah. So they take a big cut. Now, taking a big cut might not work in this situation because Microsoft, as we know, are giving away codes all the time for free.
Yeah.
And they're doing the promotions of like get 3 years for $1 and stuff like that. A cut of $1 doesn't mean anything to Valve, and all it is taking away from potential sales that could go through your store, and you're losing revenue. So it would have to be a set price.
Probably.
It would have to
most
be,
likely. Yeah.
We want X million dollars for this many years, and that's what our thing is.
Or like an agreed upon average per. Okay, someone comes on with a code that doesn't matter. They're on. Therefore, we take this amount of money for that.
Yeah.
Every quarter or something.
And combine that with Microsoft's loss of money at the moment through Game Pass. How much more could they possibly stomach? Now, granted, like I said, this isn't Microsoft saying it. This was Valve saying they would be open to it. So not like Phil Spencer saying, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So they may be like, no, because then we're going to have to pay you. And then we barely make any money off of this thing. We don't make any money. We're paying money out the arse to get this thing going.
I think as well, because what Valve brings a fair amount to the table, should this be a business discussion that was happening, they don't have to be like, oh, we'd love to work with you, Microsoft. No, we're Valve.
Yes.
We're Steam. We don't need you. We have the PC crew. We've got it. When the meme is that we make so much money off sales. The meme is that our gamers can't afford anything because we give them so much and they always buy it.
Yeah.
We make money hand over fist. We don't need you.
Yeah.
So what, it's going to have to be lucrative for Valve to do it. And the fact is that most of the games on Game Pass aren't games that people are dying to play. Most of them. There's a lot on there that's good, but most of it is fluff.
No one's clamoring, really.
Right.
I'll tell you something that was good that went on there. I think it's this month. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy's on there.
Sick.
It's a bit of an interesting one because I feel bad actually for... is it Eidos Montreal that made it or something like that? They announced that at launch, the game didn't perform very well in terms of sales. Mm-hmm. And then it started to pick up a little bit afterwards. And I guess they want to try and recoup those losses. So they just took a check from Microsoft to try and recoup some of that, which is good for them and stuff. But I feel quite bad about it because that was our game of the year for last year.
It was really good, even with my multiple game-breaking bugs. It was really good. And it came out of nowhere like as a surprise.
Yeah.
And this is where Game Pass makes sense for a lot of people. I don't think it's good overall long term, but like if you don't have a huge game budget, this is a game that you didn't want to pay. What was it? It wasn't actually full price, wasn't it? It wasn't 70.
Is that 50 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
you don't want to pay like that extra money. Wasn't going to be in your game roster for the year.
The worst part is, I bet it's discounted now.
Probably.
Marvel's Guardians.
But it was a good game, and Game Pass makes it really easy to get on it, especially if you find yourself a code. And I saw one person, I said like people are getting these codes and just not doing stuff, and they were like, no, like people aren't going to go and make free emails and stuff. I'm like, bruv, I've done it a bunch of times. Not for Game Pass, but like I've got like 7 emails specifically for stuff like this. Like it isn't hard to go like sheps1@hotmail.com, sheps2@hotmail.com, sheps, oh, I can't do 3 for some reason, sheps12@hotmail.com. Like it's not...
The newest iPhone update as well allows you to hide your email address. So it generates a fake email address and you can deactivate that at any time.
Right.
So it's even easier now.
So, I mean, like, yeah, people do that all the time.
Yeah.
That's why the user base is a very poor metric for what they're making, because you don't know how many people are of those. Let's call it just 20 million.
25 million, I think, was the last recorded number.
That's amazing. Of those 25 million, how many are sticking around? How many are on it at full price? How many are on it right now because they're running a 3-month promotional with like Mountain Dew in like Texas or something? Like we don't know.
There isn't any first-party games that I know of, because Stalker got delayed to like December.
Yeah.
I think there's no big title games coming out until November, and the last number that we got was soon after the Halo Infinite and Forza hype. It'll be very interesting. They won't tell us this number, but it'll be very interesting to see what the number is around August, September.
Yeah, and we can't ever get like concurrent player numbers. We could make an estimation of stuff like that, but we can't do it. It's I don't know, man. The other thing, like Game Pass makes sense if you've got a glut of games. If there's like a 6-month gap where nothing really is coming out and you're not like an online shooter, Warzone, Fortnite type player, then maybe Game Pass makes a lot of sense. But they never talk about that. They only talk about what comes out day and date. They never really say, by the way, this huge library of games is here for when there's nothing to come out. When it does come out, it'll be here day and date. But in between that, Game Pass. Yeah. They never do that. So, I mean, I feel like there is value here. They just don't know what it is.
I need to work out. I'm still wondering, like, what's going to happen. Like, what day they're going to increase the price of Game Pass.
I can't wait for it.
It has to happen, because there's no way that this is sustainable.
No.
Sorry, my apologies. I'll take back that word, because Microsoft is a very big company. They can sustain anything.
Right, yeah.
So sustainable isn't the correct word, but there's going to come to a point where someone's wit is going to be challenged. But we can't take these losses anymore. We can't take it. Why would we do that?
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, buddy. I'm just having a look at their cash on hand.
Probably a lot.
125 billion.
Ooh.
That was a December 31st, 2021, and that's a 5% decline.
They did pay 70 billion for.
They did.
Thing. Still a lot of money left over.
Yes.
Okay. Next little part of the wrap-up topic. It looks like Ghost of Tsushima 2 is in development. My source has confirmed.
Gasp.
My source of course it is.
What a shock.
Is in development.
How could we ever have known that one of the pinnacle games of, was it 2019? By far Sucker Punch's biggest best-selling games, one of the most completed games of all time on PlayStation. How could we ever have guessed? What a surprise.
Strange.
Out of left field.
Strange.
Who could have guessed?
I love it because
it comes a crystal ball.
It comes up as an article, and they're like listing like job listings and stuff like that. They're like, oh, this hints at Ghost of Tsushima 2.
I saw that.
And I'm like, bruv, did you need
idiot.
that? Did you need that?
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
It's like going seeing how many Apple stores there are around the world and like how much they're selling. We're like, I think
based on the job listings, Apple might be looking to scale up.
Are doing quite well. So, oh, really?
There was one thing on that, though, sort of like tangent news, that there is apparently another Infamous game potentially in the works.
Infamous and Sly Cooper.
Yes.
Both of those apparently maybe in the works. That's
now,
what
the thing is here, those 3 games, Ghost of Tsushima, Infamous, Sly Cooper, made by Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch, not massive, and also not Insomniac, despite us doing it as a joke.
Crucially, not Insomniac.
And that really is the key point, because Insomniac, if someone's like, oh yeah, Insomniac has 7 projects, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, it's Insomniac.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're like, oh yeah, Sucker Punch has 3 projects, I feel like they're likely to be projects that they have for once, like Ghost of Tsushima 2's finished. Sly Cooper in Infamous, something like that, or like maybe they roll out teams in between to like have a rolling team. Majority of teams always working here, but they roll people out as the project goes, so you're always getting like something little done for Infamous. Also, they've probably got Infamous down pretty well now. They've done 3. Also, they're at least in comparison much more simple games. They've got all the assets. Bastards if they reuse anything.
No, they have to start from scratch.
Start all from scratch. They got to make a whole new coding language just to write this thing.
They have to server wipe the whole thing. They have to issue new credentials
it's
to everyone.
Gold. Great, we're deleting it. Delete.
They have to issue new credentials to everyone and then just start again from scratch. Okay. Next topic. Apparently, PSVR.
Yeah.
That was scheduled to be coming out in 2022 might creep into 2023.
Okay.
Apparently, there's an inside source saying that the chip shortage is also affecting the PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah.
And they got that also the game that's going to be coming out, that Horizon game, Call of the Mountain, that's going to be on PSVR. Apparently, that's going to be shipping with it, and they got the word from that game that is coming out in 2023. And that's going to be a launch game. So that leads people to believe that it's going to be that. Now, it's not confirmed. It's also still a rumor. But I was super excited because not long ago we got the actual first look of the headset.
Yeah.
And I loved the way it looked like the PlayStation with the black and white. And the inside out tracking, which I called, by the way, just so you guys know, cameras.
Yes, you did. You actually called a bunch of this. We also covered PSVR 2 pattern leaks and stuff like that, and looks like we were spot the frick on.
Yeah.
So cool. It's cool to see. It's nice to know that we're not stupid.
I did was it Diogo goes with PSVR 2 showing off and everything, what VR games would you like to see? What games already made would you like to see in VR mode? I have to say I did have a lot of fun with Until Dawn, the one where you're on rails and you're shooting and stuff like that, like a shooting gallery. I feel like shooting obviously is really good for VR because you're like feel like you're holding a gun, you can look down the sights. So I think we need to have a few more of those. I would like it to be a bit more, how do I say it? A bit more serious. There was a game called Firewall 0 Hour, where you was playing as it was essentially Call of Duty but online. And I'd like to have a single player version of that. I feel like that was pretty cool. Do you have any ideas for what might be in VR? I know you're not the biggest VR guy. But
I think like something along the lines of like anything Star Wars, anything Jedi, like Vader stuff, that's always going to pop. Similarly, because The Witch is just a fancy Jedi, if you think about it. Because now you can do hand signs. If you've got buttons on each finger, right? That's for Quen and that's for Ard, That'd
be so cool.
That might be sick.
That'd be so cool.
And then I honestly think that a game that would do really well in VR is something like maybe It Takes Two or like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of thing.
Astrobot Rescue Mission was on PSVR, and that was fantastic in VR. You were sort of like, you'd move your body around with the joystick going forward and whatnot, and you could see him like running around, and It Takes Two would be the same sort of thing, jumping over obstacles and things like that. That would be fantastic.
I think that would be cool, innit?
That would be beautiful.
And I also think games that are a little bit under, I don't think there would be that many people interested, but stuff like, the Star Trek Bridge Command, things like that.
That was such a good game.
Right, it was, but
Underrated.
like so underrated and kind of underplayed.
Yeah.
Right, but with the right implementation, I think you could make it really work. Oh, do you know what would be really good? Oh, what was that? No, I forgot the name of the movie. It's like Space Quest or something like that, where aliens it's basically they find transmissions of the fake Star Trek and they make the ship and come and get the guys. I've got to find this. I can't remember the name.
What movie is that?
Dude, it's so good. It's got Alan Rickman in it. It's is it Space Quest?
I think I'm picturing Alan Rickman in a space environment now.
Galaxy Quest.
Okay.
It's called Galaxy Quest. It's really good. Hold on, let me just go back. It's called Galaxy. Sorry, boys, talking about yourselves. Galaxy Quest, 1999. So it's a banger. And they.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I recognize this now. Yep.
Like something like this, where you go on as the Space Quest crew who don't really know what the ship does. They just did stuff on the show, and the aliens that have come and got you made it all fit. They like backwards engineered it, and now you have to figure out what everything does. Right,
That could be quite fun.
Sort of like that bomb defusal game, except it's the whole team of you. Like, let's say 3 or 4 of you on the bridge. Engines need to power up. It doesn't do it. Why did you drop our shields? Oh god! Why are you launching missiles?
Why are we doing this? Photons? No.
Right. That could be hilarious.
That'd be quite fun. Sort of a mixture of Bridge Crew and Among Us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everyone going around doing tasks.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Or like Among Us might be good in VR.
I think they announced it at the last State of Play, but we haven't seen anything else of it. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I have to say, I'm a little bit pissed off that it's been being delayed. I should say. We don't know it yet. But I think it's for the benefit of the headset, because it can't work without the PlayStation 5. So there needs to be more PlayStation 5s out there in order to make the install base grow and then
it's
get
a
better games.
catch-22 in it. It needs a PS5 to play. There aren't enough PS5s out there. Okay, so we need to sell PS5s, but we're having a chip shortage. And the chip shortage is stopping us from making the thing. But, we can't push them out until there's PS5s out there.
When is this chip shortage going to fucking end? I heard at the beginning of this chip shortage that there was like...
2020.
Yeah, the big companies were like, we're opening up another factory that'll be up and running within a year. And you'd think that would be like, okay, so you've got a whole new factory, and if they're all doing one... But we still have nothing. Like, where did the chip shortage start from? What is the cause of it, and why is more factories making them not solve the problem?
The really big thing, as far as I understand it, I'm not like super in on it, is that, and this is for you guys, I'm sure you know this, is that most of these chips are used in multiple things. So like the Xbox and the PlayStation run on a lot of very similar tech.
Yeah.
Like it's all that Radeon shit, whatever it is, whatever.
Yeah.
Same stuff for like computer motherboards and stuff. Most of these places make most of the chips for most of this stuff. Same with car engines. That's why currently new cars are sky high. Secondhand cars have gone up in value for like the first time ever because they're available. And people looking for cars need them.
Installed and working.
And new cars are taking ages to get there, and you're paying a massive premium because you got to get these chips, and they're paying a premium for the chips, and there's a shortage, so they can push the prices up, supply and demand. So like cars are going up, PC parts going up, consoles going up, because most of these chips do very similar things. They're all needed for, and also it's like the same 2 factories that make them everywhere. So it's a very strange time to be like, but it's one of the reasons Apple's doing well, because they're amazing M1 chips, totally different architecture.
Making themselves, aren't they?
Right.
There we go. Yeah, okay. Well, that's everything I wanted to talk about here today. There's a
couple comments on our Discord, which, by the way, if you are new around here and decide to stick around, our Discord is genuinely one of the best places on the internet. I love it. If you do check it out, check out the show and tell room, one of my favorite rooms. If you do art or music or take photos or whatever, you can drop it in there. It's genuinely one of my favorite rooms. And of course, the bingeable room, where we talk about shows, but it's anime.
Yeah, and I get tagged in it all the time for some reason.
Yeah, Alpha, since I've converted him to being a Wii, was just like, oh, Ed,
yeah,
look at this.
Do you know what? I will say, he is still in there banging the drum of Smallville. I'll give him that. Yeah, so from our Discord server, I'll read Diogo right here. He wrote in saying, not playing anything new since I finished Horizon. Only took 60 hours to complete. Fucking hell, that's going to take us forever. We don't have all the time in the world like these kids.
Hey, right.
To complete most of the content and get the platinum, gonna replay Uncharted 1 to 3 at some point too. That's really awesome.
That's a good list.
Do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, Eden Yeager.
Who the fuck is
Alpha
that? Who is that?
Eren Yeager is a great protagonist in Attack on Titan, which, by the way, is a show.
That cartoon? Is that cartoon? Is that like Bob the Builder? Is that what that is?
I know you know the difference, and I know you know how much physical pain it puts me in hearing you say that.
You guys can't see it because of the shutter speed on the camera, but he's vibrating right now from anger.
Attack on Titan was, by the way, just because you did genuinely ask, it's a great anime. It's one of my favorite of all time. It's one I genuinely believe it's probably one of the best stories ever told, and definitely the best told story ever. It is a masterclass in storytelling. But it was a little bit complicated and a little bit not like beginner friendly, so it never made it onto Anime Club. Whereas like something like My Hero Academia is very easy to understand, right? You get superpowers, you get the training arcs, you get tournament arcs. It was not that you couldn't handle it, but Attack on Titan would have been like season 1, season 2. What's going on? The whole time you have no idea what's going on. By the time you think you got it going on, they pull the rug out from under you, and it turns out that like there's a whole world out there that you didn't know about, right? So that's why we never watched it, but it's really good, and I got him in on it. And Eren Yeager is the main character.
Right. Okay.
That's
a long way to say I'm a loser and I watch this shit. Oh.
Yeah, like we're sponsored by Manscaped, but it doesn't matter because no one's gonna see.
No one's gonna see down there anyway.
Right. It's really just for myself. Okay, I'm gonna light a couple candles. Not a Pokemon guy, says Alpha. I'm not that much of a weeb looking at you, Eddie.
Hey,
that's right, because you watched hundreds of episodes of Pokemon before Alpha was even born.
I'm banning him from the Discord.
I've been playing Arkham Knight yet again, and I'm tempted to go after all the Riddler stuff for a second time. No, so much.
Don't do it.
There's so much.
Don't do it. It's just painful.
On this note, he was streaming on Twitch, and I randomly got the notification turned up literally the second it went live, and was chatting to him because I like to chat to the guys in the community anytime they go on Twitch or whatever if I'm there. And he was like, "Have you played this?" And as he said it on the loading screens, which by the way I got while playing the game before I got to that point, which has a massive spoiler in it, popped up. And he's like, "Oh God, don't look at spoilers." I'm like, "Don't worry, I know," but the game spoiled itself for me while I was playing it.
That's weird.
It's the dumbest freaking thing.
That is dumb, right?
And it's supposed to not be able to happen, but I think it's because it's me.
Because you broke it, yeah.
Which is definitely possible. But that was funny. He's like, "Oh God, I didn't mean to spoil it for you. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "No, I got it." I've started Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's the most chill game. It's awesome. I feel like Red Dead chill? Is that right for Red Dead?
I mean, there's a lot of death and killing.
But you're just riding around on a horse, innit?
Yeah, that's
getting tuberculosis. So.
Yeah.
It's
I
awesome.
imagine getting tuberculosis is quite chill. Quite chill.
I also started Mass Effect 3, and it's better than 2 so far. Gotham Knights, Gotham Knights, Gotham Knights. Say it 3 times, and I hope we get a release date.
Yeah, it's still scheduled to come out this year. Which is...
Do you care?
Madness. No.
Me neither.
I don't care about Gotham Knights. Unfortunately, it didn't... It was.
I hope it's sick though.
It was the Court of Owls teasing for
Oh,
so fucking
God.
long, and we was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have some epic Batman story," and then it turned out it was like a games of service bullshit. Didn't even have Batman in it. It has these sub characters on the side,
Right.
And we're like, and then they tried to pitch us that Batman's dead. We're like, we know he's not gonna be dead.
Right. It's
Shut
Batman.
your goddamn mouth.
And then even if he is dead, there's always a replacement. Is it going to be Thomas because it's a different timeline? Is it going to be,
It was just I dropped.
Also,
off
Court of
and
Owls is such a great storyline.
Yeah.
And then they just don't have it in there. Now, if it is like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, where we were like, do you know what? What was the one that came before it that we were like, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Marvel's Avengers.
Marvel's Avengers. We were like, you know what? We're going to write off Guardians of the Galaxy. We were totally wrong. If it's like that, if it's just the DC version of it, that could be amazing.
Yeah.
And I would love to, again, I would love to be wrong.
I would
about
love it
I would
because
love
it's
for it
DC. I want DC to be great.
Right. And at the end of the day, more good games means more good games.
Exactly.
So, but I will say, I really don't care.
The one that we were all waiting for, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
That one got delayed.
Yes, it did.
Anyway, we should see more of it. We'll see. Tailgate writes in and he says, I have mostly been playing a lot of Outer Worlds, the spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas. It's basically Fallout in space. I've heard that about it.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
And its tone is based around pulpy 1950s sci-fi. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it after I said it. I was like pulpy. Okay.
Yeah.
Comic books and movies. That sounds like right up my alley, actually. That's really cool.
It's a great aesthetic as well.
Yeah. The game is engaging and gives you a lot of freedom in how to complete the quests. For example, you can decide to be a total psychopath and kill the NPCs in the game. The game even lets you to kill NPCs important to the plot. Whoa.
Wow. That's cool.
That is cool. And Mad Lads at Obsidian put systems in place so you can complete the quest if you if you decide
if you
to go
skits out and murder
down
everybody.
the psychopath route. That's actually quite cool. That sounds actually really inventive.
That is cool.
And then he says, what do you think about the rumors that Sony are going to be doing a big state of play this month and that the new Hogwarts Legacy trailer might be shown at the state of play? I think it's all but confirmed that it's going to happen. The rumors have been going around, and also logic dictates that it's going to happen, because there's so much that needs to be announced, so much that needs to be set up. God of War Ragnarok got announced back in 2020.
Yeah.
For 2021, and then we got one trailer after that.
Knew that was bullshit. Though.
Yeah, it's true. We and then we got the trailer, and they said, okay, we're delaying it to 2022, and we're like, cool, and it showed a bunch of gameplay, which lended to
exactly what they did in 2016 or whenever.
Exactly, which lended to the idea that okay, this could come out in 2022 then, but it's been radio silent ever since. And how many more months we got left of this thing? We got 9 more months left in the whole year. It needs to come out ideally before Starfield, so it captures the audience then. Yeah. There needs to be a release date soon. There needs to be another state of play.
Talking of Starfield,
and then like you said, Hogwarts Legacy needs to be shown.
Makes sense for Hogwarts to come out with the state of play, because state of plays tend to get the best audience of these things for whatever reasons. Also, no E3, and you're not going to do it at Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
So, that also makes sense. So I think that's a good move. Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to put a prediction out there.
Go for it.
Wednesday, the 9th, they will announce it, and it'll be a Thursday show.
Okay.
Thursday 10th.
Okay.
So, Sony, yeah. I've okayed it. You can do it now.
Right. Yeah. Just make sure you send the email out to PR in it.
It'll be a very cool thing, and it's been going around that people were saying that this is going to be quote unquote the big one. I have to assume that means God of War Ragnarok or something like that, right? But we'll see what happens then.
But I mean, Harry Potter's got a massive audience. Yeah,
but they're all losers.
That's a good point.
All losers. They're like Ben Fryer, Ben Higgins.
Too many Bens. Bend over.
Bend over. Jas. All those losers.
Losers.
I have to say, Jas randomly messaged me one time. He was like, hey man, I love you. And I was like, oh, I love you too. Why did you send me this message? He's like, I don't know, I just felt like sending it. I was like,
yeah. Or it's just reverse psychology, and he's like, this guy freaking keeps beefing me out. I'll kill him with kindness. Yo, I love you. Stop beefing me out.
And then I just go do that too. You need to work reverse psychology.
So just wait.
Psychology.
God damn it. You're a genius, bro.
Genius.
Freud who?
Anyway, guys, that's all we have to talk about here on the True Game podcast.
That's right.
Sorry, my head is fried. I don't know what's happened. I've got a headache all of a sudden. Thank you all for joining us for this episode. Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed our first sponsored episode of the podcast.
Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring us and for keeping our man gardens more sausage than brush.
Exactly. It makes us look bigger because less brushes.
That's
right.
In fact. It's perspective, isn't it?
Exactly. If you guys want to check that out, feel free to. In the description, there'll be a link. The code will be there as well.
Conbrobaballs.
And it will.
I wish you'd workshop that with me.
I was like, I want it to be a surprise, and Anyway, thanks guys for the support. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you for being here, bro.
Buddy.
And we'll catch you all in the next one.
Catch you in the next one.
I was going to really push this, and then it would be like knocking.
I could just see that smashing the lens.
Break something.
Because everybody, the worst thing is, why is that glass so expensive? Lenses can be like 5 times regular lenses.
Yeah. I've even gone for like that one over there can't zoom. Yeah. But it's really, really good for like low light stuff. Even that, like £100. And
it's ridiculous, isn't it? And that's
it doesn't
cheap.
even zoom. It just does one thing.
That's like, did you get it on sale? Because I was going to say, that seems really cheap.
Bargain.
Freaking glass, man.
The bigger one that I've got, that was 560.
Yeah. Also, do you remember I showed you it's my brother's in film and stuff, and he has I can't remember what his camera is, and my mum got him a Christmas present. It was like, did your mum want to rethink this? Or it might have been a birthday present. It was a coffee mug that looks like a lens.
Oh.
And I was like, this is only asking for trouble. One, maybe he thinks it's a lens.
Yeah. And
then it's a cup. 2, it gets mistaken somehow on set and work on him on his
I need my lens today. I'll pick. Oh, there it is. I've got it. And then go. Oh, it's a coffee mug, and
or
that's
someone
it.
goes to give him a refill, and pours,
Got coffee into his fucking.
you know,
It's just
it's just asking for trouble. Isn't it?
Oh, God. It's like, Mum, for
I
my
beg
next
you, just get
birthday-
him just a mug.
For my next birthday, can you get me a lens?
It's a cheap one. It's only $1,000.
Yeah, I need to replace the one that got broken with coffee.
You're right.
All right. Check it later, boys.
Later, boys.